Well, Brad, it's nice to meet you. I hear your new book, Runner Man, is like a virus out there. Like a virus? Oh, you mean it's gone viral? Yeah, I guess it has. You know, it really is its own genre. There's no book out there quite like it that combines sex and sports and life lessons in the way that this book does. But Brad, you call this book Runner Man, Confessions of a Miler. What is there to confess? What are the confessions about? Oh, well, confession is good for the soul, and being a boomer, I need to do this for me. I've borne the burden of being this obsessed runner all alone long enough. So in this book, I confess all of this. I drag out the dark side of the running industry. I confess my callous and shallow side, my obsessions. New Balance denies its sponsorship of me, in fact, if you can believe that. This book is not a book for children. It's not a book for dogs either. My mother may not even like it, but you know, I feel better already. Thanks for asking. Well, not a problem, Brad. So why do you run? Oh, you mean run now in my age? Well, I'm running now mostly just to see if I still can, but different ages, I've run for different reasons. Back in high school, I was running to prove my manhood. When I was living in the Congo, I think I ran so I could eat all that palm-saturated food and keep my cholesterol down. Well, how did that work out for you? You mean the manhood part or the cholesterol part? The cholesterol stayed down, the manhood is still in question, I think. All right, let's move on here. What was the worst race that you ever ran, Brad? Oh, gosh, there's so many, it's hard to pick from. Probably the worst race I ever ran, it was a mile run, and I was in last place coming around. I think it was the third lap. My girlfriend was in the bleachers, and she was shouting, "Go, baby, go, baby." And my coach yelled at the top of his lungs, "Don't be last again, Hill." I think that was my worst race. That was pretty embarrassing, I imagine, wasn't it? Whatever happened to her? Her? Oh, I don't even remember. She just sort of disappeared. But yeah, that was no doubt my worst race for all. But I was getting used to it by then. Well, tell me about the best race that you ever ran. Well, the best race, I was in my mid-40s. I was a pastor of a church. I entered the open mile at the Civic Stadium. A number of people from the church were in the stands. The race got later and later. I didn't know, and the problem here is collegiate runners will turn out for this race, and if they do, none of us have a chance. But the only ones that turned out that day were some collegiate female runners, which is actually worse, back to the manhood issue. And by the time the mile came, it was just a couple of spectators and my daughter. But I ran the race of the decade. I ran it in about 5:30, and I won the open mile. That was the day. Wow, that's great. You must have been pretty excited about that. How many were actually in that race? I normally never tell. The trick is often to choose a small local race with almost nobody in your age group. But in this case, I think there were at least a dozen. So I actually beat some people this time. But tricky question, though. All right, well, moving right along then. Your book, you say that you always sing something while you run. What is that song that you sing? Well, I almost always sing, "Life is a cabaret, old chum, life is a cabaret." I know this is for millions of viewers, so I won't continue singing, but sometimes I sing Shotgun Blues, sometimes I sing Rachmaninoff Third Movement. Wow, that must be really hard to run to that. But you derive a lot of life lessons from this book. Do you mind sharing a few of them now? What are a couple of the most important? No, I don't mind. I don't want to give it all away, Brad. You should buy the book to find the core lessons, but, you know, a couple of them. Maybe run or counterclockwise on the track of life. How about that? Well, that's good. Any others? Well, I think the fundamental one is always run to win. Now, I averaged one win every 15 years, I think. But I found many ways to win a race. Setting a new PR is winning. And if you don't set a new PR, then finishing better than you thought is winning. Maybe winning is not finishing as far back in the pack, or for me sometimes winning is not being as far last as I thought that I was going to be. So there's many ways to win. So that's it. That's the basic lesson of life. Run to win. That seems like so, last millennium. You should be saying things like run to fill your dreams or run to be all that you can be. No, it's pretty much run to win, but there are other lessons around there. Again, I'm not going to give them all away, but for example, allow that adversity changes you, but try to avoid all adversity if possible. Run with friends, run with children, run with your wife. Face the pain. Periodically reset your goals. Know who you are, though, at heart, and I am a miler. Do you have any parting advice for milers or for people that'll read your book? Well, I do. Don't run naked. Don't run in worn out shoes. Watch out for dog poop and dogs that poop. Watch out for open manhole covers. But seriously, learn to love the liminal border where pain and suffering and exhilaration and exaltation meet, where the eternal soul of man meets the temporal soul of rubber and asphalt. And let the elements of sun and rain and cold and sweat and oxygen and lactic acid speak truth to you and distill your essence and drive the toxins out of your mind and heart. Running distills who you are, and that is the lesson. Read the book. Well, Brad, this has been fun. Thanks for the interview. Good luck with the book.